Hi, I've got a new blog post up and I just thought it'd be really useful for me to, I suppose, set the scene for you a little bit as to why I wrote it. I've been writing blogs for a while and I think the reason why I started was because as a mum you can be so on your own in a house that you don't even often get out of the house to know what's going on, and it's just you, yourself, and I, and I just think sometimes, like, we read stuff, we absorb stuff as mums, we take things in, and I know I have found it useful, and so this is sort of a gathered wisdom, trying to pull it all together to give you something good. And this particular blog is called "I'm a Mum, Get Me Out of Here." I don't know, it's 6 o'clock. 6:15 on a Monday evening. I don't know what your day's been like so far. Maybe already you woke up at 5 a.m. with everything going and you're wishing that it was the weekend already. I've been there myself, and I'm sure many of others of you have been there as well. There's an old proverb that says this: a wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. And I think part of creating space within your world as a mum gives you the foundation to really take a control of your own environment and situation. Like, I'm all for us disciplining our kids and bringing them some good boundaries and giving them space themselves, the timeouts for kids, and I'm really all for that. But I think it starts with the mum first of all, for you to create your own boundaries and your own, like, sort of safe places to go to when there is a crisis or when there is a meltdown, because I'm sure you have been there. I remember this one occasion when everything was going on. The fridge was beeping. I had one child on the bottom step on timeout. I had another child on the top step on timeout. I had another child who was just crying in a high chair. The washing machine had ended. The dishwasher was beeping in the days when I had a dishwasher. We have an on the stove kettle. It was like just going crazy, and the cat needed feeding. And I just lost it. I absolutely had a meltdown, and it was those moments in my life that caused me to put together, I suppose, these 6 little helpful hints. You can read it yourself on the blog if you want to, or I'm gonna, like, sort of explain now. Hey Ruth, good to see you, and Mark from Detroit, don't know who you are, it's great to have you all join me. Number one, my top one would be always be prepared to modify. It is like the Cube. Anybody seen the game The Cube? When they are in there and they're trying to problem solve and they just press pause for a minute and they modify. If it's not working and if it's not working out for you, just change your tactic. Don't worry if you have to pause and say sorry to the kids and go, this is not going to plan. I have found myself many times when I have just not got it right, and I know I've not got it right, and the easiest thing to do sometimes is just to let it ride out, you know? You just ride out the argument. You get on that wave of the, like, emotion or the crisis. But actually, I've found, looking back now, the most peaceful times and the most productive times were when I paused and I chose to change the angle at which I attacked whatever it was that was going on. Press pause. That is an important thing to do as well. If you have to put yourself on timeout, put yourself on timeout. I have a downstairs toilet. It is my favourite place to hide. You will often find me closing the door, shouting from behind the door, I'm in the toilet, to the children, because it's just the only place I feel I can still hear everything that's going on, even when they were little. Make sure they're safe, of course, but just go out of the way. Just get 5 minutes. I have a mirror. I cry to the mirror. I tell the mirror all my problems. I also talk to myself in the mirror and I say, Claire, you're doing an amazing job. You're a great mum. Look at those kids. They're doing great. Say that to yourself. And of course, take your phone in there with you, because that's always sure to cheer you up. Quick trip on Pinterest, quick look on Instagram, and before you know it, you found a bit of peace and calm and you can come out of the room again. This is one of my favourites because it actually involves something that can be something you can build over a period of time, even when your kids are little. Be a peacemaker, not just a peacekeeper. There's a difference, isn't there, between, like, actually having, people that go and work in diplomatic situations, intense crisis, which is what it can be like when you're managing a house full of children and diaries and busy lives and one car and clubs and everything else that's going on, and nappies and animals and school run and whatever else it is that you've got going on in your world. Make for peace. So don't choose the easy option just because it's the easy option. You know, the child cries and you give them what they want, or they complain and you're like, you just do anything to keep the peace, and you say to all the kids, quiet down, keep the peace. Actually be a peacemaker. Find a way to make and build bridges for peace in your house. That might look very different for you. For us, it's always about taking the kids off separately. I take them off one, and I'll always say to them, I'm talking to you about you and them about them, and building peace and building in them the ability to look to each other and beyond their own selves for what comes next. That is something we still do now, even with teenagers. I would recommend being a peacemaker, not a peacekeeper. And then choose kindness. That is my point number 4. When you're in mid-meltdown with any of your kids, or even your spouse or your partner or your friends, it works well. Choose kindness. From the very beginning, when my kids were born, I chose not to be an insult hurler. I decided I was never going to go down the route of going, you're a little so-and-so, you're a little this, you're a little that. Using words, you know what? Our kids don't need to grow up with any labels. They don't need to grow up knowing anything other than they are incredible and they have the potential to fulfill greatness, and there is a great future ahead. And actually those words roll far too easily off our tongues, and actually I think that you find that it does anything but make a situation better. It just pulls them down. Choose kindness. Even when you don't feel like being kind, choose kindness. The other one as well is that I would recommend is you forgive quick. You keep a really short account with your kids about what's going on. They can say some really hurtful things and they can behave in ways that appear very personal, but it is very rarely personal to you and very often just very self-centered of them. You know, there's so many of you. It's good to see you. I wish I could see all your faces, but I can't. So forgive them quickly, because you know what? They can create World War III, and it can appear like their only hope is Obi-Wan Kenobi in this situation. Like the galaxies have literally come into an end, that they need Flash Gordon to save the world. And then the moment a friend knocks at the door, it is as though nothing has happened, or the moment that their favourite TV programme comes on, all is calm and all is well. It very rarely is personal to you what's going on, so try not to take offence. Keep a short account and move on as quickly as they do. You know what? Maybe they had a bad 5 minutes, but don't make them pay all day for that bad 5 minutes. And don't make, if you've got a husband at home, comes home, don't make your husband or your other kids pay for somebody else's bad 5 minutes as well. Work it out in the moment and move on. Tomorrow's a new day. And finally, point number 6, and I love this one because it is the easiest to get yourself out of a sticky situation. Phone a friend. If you are mid a moment and you are having a really rubbish day and nothing is working out, like the kids don't want what you fed them, the dog is like, you know, being sick on the floor or whatever the dog's doing, or, you know, you just can't get it together. You haven't even got dressed properly. You haven't had a shower for days, whatever it is, and you just feel like you are at the end of your tether. There is always a friend at the end of the line. Find somewhere to go that is great for your kids, whatever stage of life they are. Mine are probably past the play gyms, but they're a great place to go. Find a cafe, find somewhere that you can go with a friend and give them a call. Get yourself out of the house, find a parent and toddler group, go somewhere with them and get some fresh air. Get them in the buggy if you have to, if you haven't got a spare car. But do all that you can to make for peace in your house. A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears down her own hands. You know, I really believe there is so much incredible power in these hands that is the mum. You have the ability to turn things around for good. And actually, if you start your day believing that you have the ability to turn things around from good, it makes a huge difference. So if you got up at 5 a.m. this morning, or whether you only got out of your pyjamas about half an hour ago, I'm telling you now, Monday can change, because everything looks better after you've had a cup of tea, some good food and a good night's sleep. See you next time.